culture that really goes into each and every house that makes the houses unique about ballroom and queer life just as a whole. There's just a lot of culture there. And we get it raw and unfiltered, which is what I really love. What do you hope the audience takes away from the show? Miss Shalae, how about you go first?
Takes away from the show, honestly, just to me, more than anything, is education, right? Because so many people use a lot of stuff that comes from ballroom and they don't know where it comes from. And so I feel like with us actually having this platform, they can understand like why they use, you know, the lingo like Dashaun was saying, you know, I think that's really, really important. And then of course, just like in the first episode, I thought it was absolutely beautiful how they shared our stories, and it opens people up to letting them know like how diverse our community is and how beautiful it is, and just the amazing talent that we all have to share. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, and everyone seems to be accepted no matter what walk of life or background. James, what do you hope that the audience can take away from a show like Legendary?
So, and kind of piggybacking off of what Michelle said, I think that they should really take from the show how like diverse and how important family is for us. I know, like Michelle felt that it's really important that. Oh, it was beautiful that they was able to share everybody's story, but in my case, my house story wasn't shared as much. So I hope that just based off our performances and the small 10 and 15-second clips that they did show of us, that they can see the chemistry and how much of a family we really are, even though the cuts didn't show much of that. That was a really big deal to me that my house stories wasn't shared very much. But hopefully they can see through that and take from that we really are a big family. We love each other to death.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Dashaun, you're the host of the show, as we've seen, and a great host you are. The judges can get a little out of hand from time to time, as we see, just a touch. How do you keep the peace between them?
Cracking the whip. No, I'm kidding. No,
all right, yeah.
No, honestly, it's about, you know, everyone has a job to do, to be honest. It's as a host, you know, as an MC, a commentator, you have to make sure that the judges are doing exactly what they need to do. You have to make sure the crowd is entertained. You got to make sure the participants are, you know, walking the category or, you know, understands what's going on. So it's a big, full job on top of that, while still being entertaining and keeping everyone on their toes. So when it comes to the judges, because they are so, you know, everyone has their own opinion and own view, it can be very interesting, because if you agree with something, I mean, when you disagree with something of someone that's, you know, something that someone said, you can get into the full debate. One thing that the show does is sort of, in the ballroom culture, we focus on the talent. MC, you hear them. Sometimes you don't really get to see them, but you hear them. What this show does is turn the camera around to the judges. And now you get to hear the commentary and see what goes on, and like see how judges feel and what the conversation's about. So it can bring up so much debate. It can bring up shade. It can bring up feelings. And this show brings up an emotional roller coaster for the viewer, because you can have a house, you know, for example, you have St. Laurent and West, and someone can love West, someone can love St. Laurent. And if they go up against each other and whatever happens right then and there, you can have a full debate about what's going on. And it can bring you to a place, you know? So it's a full emotional show. That's what I like about it.
I don't think Dashaun is like new to that though. Like in that experience, it's kind of like ballroom, because people are very high spirited and are not afraid to say what they feel, and especially like judges, like they let it be known, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of judges, the panel is just absolutely star-studded every single week. King James and Shalae. Who has been your favorite judge on the show so far? And what is it like having, you know, Megan Thee Stallion, Jamila Jamil as judges? James, go ahead.
So my favorite judge definitely was Laomi. Me and Laomi has had problems in the past, and I feel like without even talking about them, prior to even talking about them, she was able to sit them to the side and be a fair judge. And I love the fact that she was able to share her thoughts about what she expected from us, so that she can kind of push us harder, and that's what she did. So a lot of times when we did practices and stuff, I would say like, Laomi is going to expect more, so let's pick it up. And that was like a good feeling to actually hear her say her feedback about what she thought versus what she's seen. as far as having Megan Thee Stallion as a judge, I thought that was really, really amazing to have somebody like Megan come to our community and kind of share that experience of ballroom and, you know, to some extent have her first taste of like ballroom up close and personal. Jamila Jamil, I'm not like a big, like, I don't know much about her. I've seen her once or twice, but I don't know like that much about her. But even still knowing like where she's come from and doing my research afterwards, I think it's amazing that she was there, because people like that, I don't expect to face. And then we'd be able to like reach out and hug them without having concert tickets or some stuff. She's not a, you know, not concert, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. Miss Shalae?
My favorite judge, I would have to say, is probably Meg, honestly. I love her spirit and the way she judged, honestly. And then I love Law also. I think it's no secret that I do not support Jamila at all. And I think I'll just leave it at that.
Wow, yeah, some fighting words. Before I let you go, now, Dashaun, I don't think you can answer this because you're the MC, but between you two, who are you rooting for to win this thing?
Wait, say that again?
Which house are you rooting for to win this thing and take home?
For me?
Well, no, I was going to say, Dashaun can't answer.
I was like, I can't.
What Miss Shalae thinks. Dashaun, I'm keeping you out of it. You're off the hot seat. You're off the hot seat.
So I'll just make it really clear, since we was the first house to go home, and the house that sent us home was the Balmains. The Balmains better win this show.
All right, fair enough, Miss Shalae.
Who do I hope wins the show? I'm open to it.
That was a very Dashaun answer of you. You know, there's a very Dashaun answer.
You gotta be the best. You gotta beat the best. Be the best. You gotta beat the best to be the best. And if you beat us, you better be the best.
Amen to that.
Here to that.
Here to that. Well, Dashaun, Miss Shalae, King James, thank you so much for stopping by. You're all legendary to me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Don't miss Legendary Thursdays on HBO Max.